Okay, well, let's do this. Well, good morning, everyone, and TGIF and beautiful weather and a great upcoming weekend. Welcome to our virtual Friday hosted by your Kingsport Chamber. We are pleased to have everyone back from our last virtual Friday, and we welcome all new participants. This virtual Friday is going to be a little different. We're going to offer a networking meet and greet section for our attendees later in the program. We hope that everyone will enjoy this new opportunity. Our sponsor today is Honda Kingsport, a new and used Honda dealership in Kingsport that serves our region. We appreciate your sponsorship of this morning's program, and we look forward to hearing from you in just a few minutes. Now we will have invocation presented by Christina Alford, GO coordinator with Port City Church. Welcome, Christina.
I am standing in for her, so I'm not Christina, but I am Chris.
Well, Chris, welcome, Chris. Thank you.
Let me pray. Father, we come to you today and we thank you for just the blessing of life, the fact that we have the opportunity to come together, to network, to see to the good of our city and the good of our region. Father, we know these are challenging times for business leaders, for community leaders, for our medical staff around the region. And we just ask your blessings on them. In particular, Father, those who are serving our community through the medical facilities as they are stretched and challenged and perhaps at times overwhelmed. We just ask your provision and protection over them and their families and the stresses that they are carrying. And Father, for those of us who serve in the community or business leaders in the community, give us creativity and insight as to how we can use our businesses and organizations and talents and skills to not only advance our own agendas and projects, but also just make a difference in the lives of the people around us. You told us that loving our neighbor was essential. And so, Father, just help us in every moment and in every area of our lives to find ways to use the tools and the talents that you've given us, the resources that you've given us to make a difference in the lives of the people that come into contact with us. Father, we thank you for and pray for our leaders. Watch over them, give them wisdom beyond their own, give them foresight to lead our community and to lead us well. And we just thank you for every person that is gathered here today. May they be blessed, may they be encouraged, and may this just be a beautiful weekend for them to see you at work in their lives. And all these things we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Chris, for that very uplifting prayer and for everyone's well-being. Now we would like to introduce today's sponsor, Honda Kingsport. I was going to say amazing manager and partner, Russ Good. Honda Kingsport enjoys $60 million in annual sales and employs over 80 full-time employees. Russ, I'm going to say more because every car I see on the road is a Honda. Russ has been involved with the Chamber a number of years that include chairing Cosby and Visit Kingsport. Russ is our past treasurer and is currently our chair-elect for your Kingsport Chamber. In case you missed the last virtual Friday where Russ spoke, here are a couple of things you probably do not know about Russ. He has been on the board of our many nonprofit and founded his own nonprofit that has been actively helping families for the past 15 years, right here in Kingsport. Russ is an author of 2 books, which are The 17 Laws of Marriage and The 17 Laws of Parenting, that are all available on Amazon via paperback, Kindle, and Audible. Russ has his own show about marriage, parenting, and relationships that you can find on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Russ has been married to his high school sweetheart for over 32 years. Russ, I didn't even think you were that old. Has 2 married daughters, 1 married son, and another son who is a senior in high school. Russ is going to answer questions about the auto industry or any other topic that you would like to discuss. Russ, thank you so much for being here. You're absolutely one of my favorite, and the screen is yours.
You are too kind. Thank you. I didn't want to bore people to tears with everything about Hondas and all the things in our world. But so I actually the last 2 or 3 times just wanted to answer your questions, and I've reached out to some of you and some others, and I get no lack of questions. I have some questions about the car industry. I have some questions people are asking me about parenting as well, or marriage. And so if we get to all those, I won't pass out my cell number. If you have it, go ahead and text me. But if you don't, you can email me at rrogers@hondakingsport.com. And if I get to it here in a minute, I can, if you have a question about any of this, I'll be happy to answer. But I'll just jump right into some of the questions. The question I get now all the time is, where are all the cars? I drive by your lot and everybody else's lot, and these car lots are empty. What's happening? What's going to change? Where are we? Is it all about the chip industry? Is it COVID? What is it? Well, it's a combination of everything, and we are low on cars. 2 or 3 years ago, we probably had 300 brand new cars on the lot, and today we have 4. Ideally, we would like 180 to 200. That's the perfect number for us. 4 is not perfect. We do have pre-owned, obviously. So it's affecting everybody. We've gotten as low as 2, and some of our, it's not just us, not just Honda, it's our industry. And what's happening, many of you have heard about the chip industry. The chip industry is a $500 billion industry. So last year when COVID hit, everybody pulled the plug on all their orders, and it came to a screeching halt. And then they realized, and then when the economy started going again, we've been trying to play catch up ever since. And then you add to that, the biggest industry for chips are phones and computers, that sort of thing, not the auto industry. And when people started working from home, the phone and computers, they were taking most of the chips, and it made it really hard for all of us. And then add a little bit to that, one of the biggest chip factories on earth was in Japan, and it burned to the ground. It didn't help this year. There is one in Dallas, and then they had the ice storm and back in February, and that actually affected us. So we're still playing catch up. I was in Las Vegas at a Honda meeting a couple of 3 weeks ago, and the news is that we're probably looking at this for another. If you watch that 60 Minutes episode a few weeks ago, you can see that we're going to start building a couple of chip factories in the U.S. And then that's probably going to help, but that's probably a couple of years out because it's several $1 billion to build a chip factory. But that's not it as well. The same, when you're driving around town and you see help wanted everywhere, well, that affects us too, not just at Honda Kingsport, but for example, a lot of the manufacturing have suppliers. So whoever makes the seats or the axles or whatever it is that you're making, wiring, whatever for the car, those people are competing with the government because those people have employees that are sitting at home, just like the restaurants and everybody else. So if we ever do get a car build and the supplies to the manufacturer and the chips finally do show up, and then they, like for us, we have several of our vehicles like the Odyssey and the Pilot and Passport, they're made in Alabama, and then they sit down in Alabama because they can't find a truck. They actually truck them to Honda Kingsport. And then if they're made in Ohio, then they're on train to Nashville, and then they're waiting on a truck. And if you go to the rail yard in Nashville, you can see thousands and thousands of vehicles. They just need somebody to drive them to the dealership. So it's just a combination of things. We're probably looking at another year of this. This is nothing to feel sorry for us. We're still doing business, and we're doing the best we can with what we have, and our service is doing great. And we've not cut back on any of our community involvement whatsoever. In fact, we've increased that because if we're struggling, and then everybody else is, so we're going to use this time to actually step up, not step back. So that's it in a nutshell on the chip. So we're looking at this. You're going to see empty lots for another year. if most people are selling ahead of time. So if you wanted a new car, you need to come into whatever brand you're going to look for, and probably you're probably going to put your name on a car that's coming in a month or two. So some more questions. One of them is one mechanic tells me I need all this work done, and then I go somewhere else and that mechanic tells me, oh, it doesn't need that. All you have to do is this little bitty thing. So what do you do about that? Well, I realize our industry doesn't have the best reputation, and deservedly so. And you've heard me many times say that 90% of the auto dealers out there give the rest of us a bad name. Because of that, we don't get the benefit of the doubt. And I know our industry brings it on ourselves. I don't feel like we participate in that, but we're still a part of it. But, if a doctor tells you need this and you do it and it doesn't work, you go back to the doctor and, oh, let's try this. It's not that big a deal with us. If it doesn't go right the first time, most people think we're stealing money out of their child's piggy bank. But this question, for example, if you go to a shop that does not rebuild transmissions and you have a transmission issue, they're going to say you need to replace the transmission. But if you go to a shop where they can rebuild them, they say, hey, we can rebuild them. And if you didn't know that, you might think, oh, this guy was going to charge me a lot more. He's taking advantage of me. But that may not be the case. They may not just do that. But here's a good example. We had a transmission issue the other day on a Dodge here. Customer bought it a week later. Something's happening. Things happen. You sell several thousand cars. Things happen. This one had a bunch of miles on it. So you might expect that. But the code, our mechanic said, okay, or a technician said, okay, the code said it needed a sensor. We put a sensor on, we drove it to the Pinnacle and back, 50 to 70 miles an hour. Great. Customer takes it, comes back the very next day. Guess what? It's doing the same thing. It's like, okay, well, how do you deal with this? The customer thinks we're, not honest about it, and it couldn't be anything further from the truth. So we get some other mechanics involved and said, hey, would you look at this and look at this? And they got under it with a flashlight, and right under it somewhere where it was so obscure, there was a little ground wire that wasn't attached. So they attached a ground wire. We kept it overnight, drove it another 20, 30 miles, and now it's absolutely fine. So sometimes you just need to get a second opinion and based on their experience. So if it's a big repair, I highly recommend you get a second opinion. Even if you go to that shop and have somebody else look at that. Even in our shop, if a technician says to our used car department, you need this big old repair, a lot of times I'll go to the shop foreman and say, would you double check and make triple sure? And usually they're spot on, but I just want to know. And again, I hope this stuff is helpful. There's been a couple of you that were on the last couple of times I did this, and I shared a couple of funny customer stories, and I bet you I've had 15 people say, please tell a couple of funny customer stories. So I'll share this. So we had a lady that came in one day, and it was on a Thursday because we had the Auntie Ruth's donut trailer out there. There were people everywhere. And this lady that came in was completely wasted. I mean, stoned out of her mind, messed up. And she got belligerent. Somebody called the police, and now you got the police and all this out there and arrested her. So as it turned out, she actually had been driving around Kingsport for 2 or 3 hours trying to find the hospital. And she finally decided that we were the hospital, and that's why she ended up here. Well, that's not the funny part. She finally got out of wherever they put her for 4 or 5 days. She had to come back and get her car, and actually came back and bought a new car. So that's the height of irony, in my opinion. Obviously, she probably forgot how she ended up in jail to begin with, or wherever it is she went. Okay, next question. I've had this a couple times that somebody emailed me, and that was, what wears out the car the fastest? Well, here it's not doing your maintenance on the car. And how it affects that is specifically heat cycles. You'll hear technicians or somebody talk about that. That's the heat cycles wears out your car more than anything. So you've heard of, oh, I've got 100,000 miles on my car, but those are all highway miles. Well, that's really a thing. So it's so each time your car warms up and cools off, and then it warms up and cools off, those are heat cycles. And your car is designed to be hot and drive warm and everything. And when it's engineered and designed to stay hot and warm and drive, it's not wearing out nearly as much as if it cools off and then you crank it up. So a little old lady who drives her car to church and back on Sunday, it actually will wear, that car does wear out quicker than if you actually drove more miles than it was highway miles. But back to the highway miles, it has less wear and tear on your car because you're not starting and stopping, and again it's staying warm. So usually if I bring this up, somebody will say, okay, Russ, I changed my oil and my brake fluid, transmission fluid, rear differential. Do I have to really do all that? That's not even in my owner's manual. Should I really do all that stuff? And for the same reason as the heat cycles, your brake fluid gets hot, all the other fluids get hot. And then it's just like the cooking oil at home, it breaks down over time and it makes it where your fluids can't do their job. And your fluids have two jobs, and that is to clean and protect. And when they stop being able to clean and protect, you need to replace them. And it's not all that's in the owner's manual or maintenance manual, but putting tires on your car is not in there, putting brakes on there, putting gas in your car is not in your owner's manual. There's just some things you have to do to a car that I guess maybe they assume that we still have a brain and we do know to put gas in a car. Even though I had a lady whose car ran out of gas and she got mad because she thought her car came with everything. And when it ran out of gas, she was livid to find out that it wasn't an endless supply of gas. And I'm not kidding. And these people vote and have jobs and everything. So back to the fluids and our job. And in my world, you're either buying fluids or over time you're buying parts. So, and the fluid is a lot cheaper than the parts. Okay. So some people have asked me, on the next question, tell me about technology and self-driving cars and some of those things. And so I'm going to just touch on the self-driving cars. I did that before, but I had more than one person ask me again this time. So I just want to share that. I think it's coming. I think it will come probably in our lifetime. And I know that Ramona thought I was younger, but I'm not. But I still think in my lifetime that we'll see some self-driving cars. Maybe it'll start with some delivery vehicles. But anyway, most states still do not have a regulatory pathway to self-driving cars. So that's an issue. You don't want to get a self-driving car out there and then all of a sudden class action lawsuit. So they got to get some laws in place. They don't have, not all states have that. Other thing, they use cameras, and during rain, snow, poor road conditions, potholes, whatever the case, country roads, whatever, it's hard to operate off of that. And then another thing is they're mainly computer driven, and so they can still be hacked. So they haven't perfected that yet. That's something they have to work on. And probably the most important is because of you got to get the internet involved, and not every place has really good internet, as you well know, if you're out in the middle of nowhere. And there's the self-driving cars are constantly looking out there to see what's happening. So is there a roadblock up ahead? Is there a wreck up ahead? Is there whatever it is? Is that a bicycle or a stroller? Is it just something painted in the road? They just don't have all that worked out perfectly yet, but I think they will. So I think you'll probably see that in our lifetime. They already have those things. They're just tweaking to make all those things happen. But so here's some cool technology. Some people ask me, this is just off the wall. I just said 3 or 4 things. I won't bore you to tears with it. One is Hondas, not every Honda, but some Hondas. There's some other cars that do this. You can actually go on Amazon, order your Amazon order, and then they can, and I know we want to buy local, but hypothetically, if you did order Amazon, they can actually find your car out in the middle of a parking lot or where you work or wherever, and then they have the special code to open your trunk, and they can deliver your Amazon package right to your trunk, and you don't have to do anything, which is really kind of cool if you're in a big city area. Something you may not know, the Honda Odyssey has, it's not the quietest vehicle inside, but it has noise canceling speakers and software. So it emits sounds to offset other sounds to make it appear quieter. So if in my mind, if it's quieter, it's quieter. But it has pretty cool technology. And yes, the speakers are emitting certain sounds to offset other sounds. It's the coolest thing ever. And that's why when you get in the Odyssey and you drive, it's like, wow, this sure is quiet. And it's true, but that's one of the cool things it does. Something some of you may know, you may even have this on your car, but now a lot of them are coming out with rear view mirrors that are actually cameras from behind you. So you're watching a video of what's behind you on the rear view mirror rather than looking at a reflection of what's behind you. There's several manufacturers that do that now, which is kind of cool. Here's something that's pretty cool. Most of the Hondas do this, a lot of the others, but you may not know this. And that is they're making cruise control that works at any speed. Used to you had to get up to 20 miles an hour or whatever, 30 or whatever it was. And now you can do any speed. And because you have the radar on the cruise and you have automatic braking, you can be in a traffic jam, set your cruise and start checking out all the stuff going on at the chamber and watching Nicole's videos and all, and just letting your car, it'll just go, it'll just stay right behind the car in front of you. It'll start, stop, go in traffic till you press the button for it not to. A lot of cars have that now, which is pretty cool. All right, next question. This is all the time. I get this 100% of the time. What about electric cars? And so I talked about that last time. I just want to share a little different take on it because everybody wants to, because Honda even, and a lot of them now say, oh, by 2030, it's going to be all electric car. We want to be 80% or whatever the case may be. So will electric cars dominate the market, or will we have all electric cars? And just to tell you, it'll be a long time before it's all electric. In fact, it will not be in my lifetime. Even the youngest person on here, will not be in your lifetime that all cars are electric. Just to give you an idea, there's 285 million cars out there on the gas, and 99.7% of them burn gas or diesel. So if we sold electric cars beginning right now, literally October 1st, we would still have gas burning cars for the next 20, 30 years. It's just going to, but we're not building only those right now. Really, only about 3% of the new cars out there are being built are electric, only 3%. So 97% of all the new cars are still gas or diesel. But the 3%, man, they get a lot of press, don't they? So I think Tesla thought that all the other manufacturers would just lay down and let them take the market. But all the manufacturers are building electric cars. So Tesla's market share of the 3% has actually declined some because manufacturers they're all committed to being electric at some point. This is just an interesting fact. I'm not an anti-Tesla guy. If you ever drive one, they're the coolest cars in the world. They're fun to drive. But Tesla actually doesn't make money manufacturing cars. They make money by selling carbon credits. And why I thought that was important to toss in today is because when all the manufacturers sell electric cars eventually, what's the value of a carbon credit? Because a carbon credit is a commodity that they're just selling. It's a piece of paper that they're right now they go for a lot of money. But if everybody has one, I don't know what they're going to do. All right, here's some hurdles to electric. This is why I think it won't happen in our lifetime. While it sounds good, so where do you go to charge your car? Right now, if you go up to the Pinnacle, there's 4 or 5 charging stations, but there's thousands of cars up at the Pinnacle. So what if they were all electric and there's just 4 or 5? Or who pays for the electricity when you're traveling? Or do we all expect the business or the city where we're going to pay for it? Well, let's suppose you live in Atlanta or Nashville. Most of you have been in Atlanta, Nashville, or big city, even Knoxville, wherever, and there's traffic everywhere. Where are all those people going to charge their car when they get to work? I mean, can you imagine what it takes, even at Eastman, you'd have to have thousands of little poles out there in the parking lot to charge all the cars, or at the hospital. Even here, we have 80 employees. We don't have a place to put 80 charging stations if we had it. So the infrastructure just isn't there yet. It's not even close. There's not a city in America that could handle all the electric vehicles, or even 1/3 of the vehicles if they were electric. So even just think about this, just a few weeks ago in New Orleans, they were out for a week or two without power during a hurricane. Can you imagine? What do you do if you have all electric cars and and your city shut down for a couple of weeks. What do you do? Or back in February, I just mentioned earlier, Dallas had an ice storm. They were without power for a long time. And what do you do? And I read that even if 15% of the vehicles out there were electric, it would crash the power grid. It's just, we're just not there. I'm not saying it won't get there and shouldn't get there, but there's a lot of hype about this. But man, we have a long, long way to go. It's just not going to happen. So even if right now, 3% of the cars are electric, if it went to 30%, we couldn't handle it anyway. So I know a lot of cities, including Kingsport, that's in discussion of, hey, how do we plan for this? Because it is coming. Something I think you will see in the near future are hydrogen powered vehicles. One thing, they only admit vapor of water vapor and warm air. The other thing is you can charge them in just 3 or 4 minutes. You can fill them up. You can actually storage in tanks at gas stations, and you can do similar to operate like we are now. There's a lot of technology left to do there. There are already hydrogen vehicles out there, and they run fine. They can go 300 or 400 miles. They can do a lot of things. But that's something, I think, this is my opinion, that you might see happen in the near future. Let me share another story with you. So we had a customer, and I hope this customer isn't watching. We had a customer who came in first thing in the morning to get his car serviced. He said, hey, I need to get this done, and named all these things. We said, sure, no problem. We came back that afternoon, and he refused to pay for the services. Even though he came in and asked, we didn't really sell him anything. He asked for these services. And after a long time, he said, the reason, this is word for word, he said, well, I only had one pancake this morning and I had to poop. I really wasn't thinking clearly. I'm not making this up. After we chatted with him, no joke, he actually ended up paying. But so I don't know how much time I have because I did not look at the clock. Maybe Stephanie, you could tell me.
Yeah, I can hear you. You've got about 3 more minutes, Russ, if you want to tell us another story.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'll share this. I actually did have one text and 2 emails, and somebody said, tell me about parenting, and I'll just share this. And one of them says, I want my kid to be happy. How do I forgot how they worded it. I just clicked off my email, but I'll go quick on this. And I do hear this all the time, and I've shared this in a video before, but where people say, I just want my children to be happy. And I always ask them, what do you mean by happy? And it usually means they want their child to have fun and don't have any problems and give them everything they want, kind of thing. And so, sure, I want my children to be happy, but I don't want them to be happy from merely giving them stuff or letting them do whatever they want to do. For me, what supersedes happy is I want my children to have impeccable character, a strong work ethic, appreciation for life, friends, family. I want them to respect people around them. I want them to create a super good life habits, be an example. I want them to have amazing relationship with God. I want them to have a heart for giving or helping. I want them to be outward focused and not super selfish. I want them to share what they have, no matter what they have. I want them to, love people no matter their circumstances. And I want them to, have a huge footprint here on this world of being generous and help generations. I want them to appreciate God's creation and a passion for learning. So I too want my children to be happy, but that's honestly not even in my top 10 things I want for my children. But we all know if I get my top 10 handled like I just listed, they're probably going to be pretty happy anyway. But anyway, thank you for listening. We appreciate your support in the community, so we can help keep supporting the community. Thanks for the opportunity to hang out with you guys today. Keep those questions coming. If you don't have any, if I didn't answer a question you have, call me, text me. I can still answer your question offline.
Russ, thank you so much. Always informative. Hey, always funny. And guess what? If you don't have an electric car, or if we all go electric, everybody can buy a horse.
I like your thinking.
Okay, so now we're going to hear from a small business update by Madison Smith, the marketing coordinator with Cosby. Thank you, Madison, and now you have the screen.
Well, good morning. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Madison Smith, and like she said, I'm the marketing coordinator for Cosby. We have a few exciting things that are happening in October. First and foremost, our Cosby Awards are coming up and applications are open. Those close on October 31st, and the fee to apply is $50, and this includes 2 tickets to our event. And this year's Cosby Awards is a black tie breakfast happening on December 9th at Fusion at Bank. Secondly, we will be back on daytime in October with another one of our Cosby board members. Carrie Parker will be with us this time, and she will be discussing her expertise on employees and management and how to tailor her tips to a small business setting. And last but certainly not least, we have 2 upcoming business trainings in October. And on October 12th, we will have Angie Heitch from ShipShape Solutions, and she will be presenting her business training called Male Dominance, Winning at the Email and Productivity Game. And then on October 28th, we have Jenny Contos from Hill House Creative presenting hers called 6 Signs You Need a Marketing Makeover. You can register for those on cosby.org.
Well, thank you so much, Madison. Now we're going to hear from another very favorite Kingsport person, our one and only Mayor Pat Shull with the city of Kingsport. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you. You ready for me to just start in something?
It is yours. The screen is yours.
Okay, thanks. Well, Stephanie asked me to give an update, and the word update has a kind of a particular meaning to me because every week I try to put out what I call a city update. And I try to make it fairly brief, informative. Some of the information I put on this, you may see other places, but that's okay because, you know, people that are in the marketing and news business know you have to keep telling folks things over and over again. People have busy lives and they don't always catch what you want to hear, what you want them to hear. I mean, my wife always reminds me that everybody's heard of Coke and Pepsi, but they continue to advertise. So if you want to be on my update list, just email me and ask to be put on the list. It gets put onto social media, and so I have no idea how many people see it every week, but my guess is it's somewhere around 5,000. You know, see my emails. I guess other than just providing information, one of the things I'm trying to do is to help people understand what their city government does. You know, I've been an elected official for over 13 years in one capacity or another, and I've got a graduate degree in public administration. So, but when I talk to citizens, I realize they don't always quite understand how the works. We have new people moving to Kingsport all the time who aren't even familiar with council manager form of government, which we have. So I think one of my jobs as you know, the mayor is to try and ensure that people are as informed as we can possibly help them be informed. And I'll tell you, I'll just share this frustration with you. You go on social media and you'll see things that are just flat wrong. Now, I don't mean people are entitled to their opinion, but they don't get the facts straight. One of my choice favorites, a couple of them, is the fellow that wrote in a letter to the Times News and blamed the city for closing Shoney's. We had nothing to do with closing Shoney's. I mean, how can somebody even arrive at that idea is beyond me. You know, then my other favorite is for a while, there was a sort of a running joke on Facebook about we had too many car washes. Well, look, what's too many? I mean, if somebody wants to build a car wash, that's their business, you know, and if they think they can make money, go for it. I mean, this is America. So anyway, people have been talking about car washes. So one day a guy goes on there and he's commenting on the new hotel that's going up near the Social Security building. That's a Fairfield Inn under the Marriott Corporation. And the guy says, well, we need a new hotel like we need a new car wash. Well, okay, on one level, that was kind of funny, but give me a break. You know, there's nothing wrong or bad about having a new hotel. You know, the corporation is in business to make money. They think if they're going to put a new hotel in Kingsport, that they can make money. And we know that when we have big athletic tournaments and things like that here, the chamber does a great job bringing all kinds of events here. And they go into Ramona's hotel there out at Meadowview. But oftentimes they got to go get a room somewhere else, like in Johnson City or Bristol, because we don't have enough hotel rooms under those circumstances, a big event weekend. So if we can accommodate them here in Kingsport, well, that's all the best for us. So these kind of things frustrate me a little bit. Now, look, if people want to criticize me because I voted this way or that way, that's fine. But at least get the facts straight, you know. I mean, so I feel better. I've got this off my chest here. But one last, I won't name the person. One person came on and criticized me because I did put out this update. He said my job wasn't to inform the people. And I thought, well, what planet is this person from? You know, I mean, so anyway, let me go on. Something that's really, really come to the forefront is the opioid crisis. I hate to tell you this, but in Northeast Tennessee, we're the worst part of the state, of the whole state of Tennessee, for drug addiction, principally opioids. Some people got the drugs through a prescription that was legal and so forth. You know, maybe they had an accident and they broke some bones, whatever. But and when we look at our homeless population, 90% or so are people that are addicted to drugs. So we've got people that go to our county jail and fill it up, and most of them, probably around 90%, are there for some reason related to drugs. Maybe they committed a crime, they burglarized the house or something, so they could get stuff to sell to get money to buy drugs. I mean, it's a terrible thing that's going on now. Kingsport, along with other cities and counties in our region, participated in this drug lawsuit against a major drug company, and the area is going to receive $21 million. Kingsport's share is probably going to be somewhere around $1 million. You know, we hadn't got the exact number, but that seems about right. So we could take this money and we could spend it on filling potholes. I mean, there are absolutely no restrictions to the use of this money. But that, in my view, that would be dumb. It'd be almost immoral. I mean, if we're going to get this money, we ought to spend it in some way that helps combat this problem of drug addiction and all the ills that result from the addictions. So I attended a briefing a couple of weeks ago, excellent briefing by some judges in the area. And I was so moved by it that I asked them to come to the BMA when they met with us this past Monday at our work session. And in general, they proposed an idea of us pooling the money and putting it toward renovating a drug rehabilitation facility, which I think is very important. And my colleagues on the BMA seem to see the wisdom of that. But the key to it is the state would have to run it. I mean, day to day, year in, year out, the operational costs and the actually operation of this facility would have to be borne by the state. So more to come on that, but we've got to do something. The drug courts are great. You know, our own Judge Goodwin in Sullivan County holds drug court, but it's not the same as having somebody at a rehabilitation center where they're there for 9 months, maybe more. They're learning life skills. They're learning trades. I see Charles Honecker there. He knows all about teaching people trades that can result in productive employment and become productive citizens again. But with the drug court, although they're monitoring these people, they don't see them every day, day in, day out, and they can relapse, folks. So the idea is to get people off drugs forever and get them back into society as productive citizens. So we'll see how this goes. What else? Oh, well, the federal government passed the ARPA Act, American Recovery Plan Act, which is trying to compensate for losses that were suffered by governments, state and local governments across the nation during the COVID pandemic. And our share is going to be like about $10.3 million. We've received the first half. We don't have to spend it right away. And that's the thing, is we're trying to decide how to spend it. First, we got to follow the rules that the feds have set out. And someday when they come along and they audit us, our state would have the authority to audit us. Jason Mumpower, our comptroller, he's from Bristol. He's made that perfectly clear. And we could be penalized if we use the funds in an improper way. So we want to follow the rules. That's the first thing. And then secondly, we want to, there's a formula based on how we can say that we lost money during the COVID and how we can make up for that. And so we got to figure out what to put this toward and what would have the most positive impact on on our city. So I ended my update. I sent it out last night to folks. I ended it by kind of reminding people what the city manager does. You know, the city manager, he and his staff, they're putting together recommendations on how to spend this money. The BMA has to make the decision. We're the decision makers, but we need the little assistance here from the city manager. And so I kind of would like everybody to put themselves in the city manager's shoes for a moment. He's got to maintain all these services we get, whether it's water, wastewater removal, fire, police protection. We got to turn money over to the education department, our school system, et cetera. We got all this stuff we have to maintain: buildings, roads, you name it, and the infrastructure. Your sewer system, water system, and all that. This is a big deal. I mean, he has to maintain an infrastructure worth probably $1 billion. So if you follow some of his thinking, is I've got to maintain this, and what's the best way to maintain it? And that's probably where a lot of this money is going to go to, essentially maintaining, upgrading what we have. I believe personally, we have world-class infrastructure, and we don't want to ever let it fall down. And finally, I guess I would end, I know I'll open this for questions, but I'll end this by saying that, I've campaigned for mayor twice, and I've gone door to door both campaigns. And some of the happiest people I've met in Kingsport are the ones who have moved here within the last, say, 4 years or so. I mean, they're super happy. They have literally fled other states, California, you name it, where they have high taxes. Their values aren't like ours for the most part. I mean, they are happy to be here. And people ask me, well, gee, aren't you worried that maybe they'll bring their California values here? No, I'm not, because every time I talk to them, they tell you how happy they are to get away from there. And they left there because they are out of step with some of their a lot of their fellow citizens. They're more in step philosophically with us. So that's it for the day, unless you got questions.
Okay, do we have any questions? Okay, well, Mayor, always thank you for all of your great information. I enjoy your updates. Hey, I truly do love new businesses coming into our community, because it means more revenue for our community that all of the citizens benefit from. And for those that have traveled and worked in other areas, I am so appreciative of everyone who is in this community. I have received nothing but kindness and genuine concern, not only for myself, for my business, but I see that happening with each other. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so now we're going to have a networking opportunity. So Justin Hartzell, Events and Communications Coordinator, that was a mouthful, with your Kingsport Chamber, is going to randomly select 10 attendees that will get 1 minute to introduce themselves. Justin, who is our first person?
Okay, so our first person, if you're on the call, Melissa Arnold. If you're comfortable going. Melissa, are you here?
Good morning. Hi, I'm Melissa Arnold with Stockton Mortgage Corp. We're a local, well, our company is out of Kentucky. We're here in Kingsport at Memorial Boulevard. We are a full service mortgage company and would love to help you with your needs.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Charles Honecker, I think I saw you on the call.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Charles. Would you like to tell us about yourself, your business?
Sure. I'm Charles Honecker. I recently owned Millennium Auto Collision, but sold that shop 2 years ago. I'm now an instructor teaching automotive technologies here at Dobbins Bennett now. So we are trying to get programs up to help the community and help our students learn the light mechanics, like oil changes and tire rotations, breaking tires down, mounting tires. So we're trying to get a program out to where we can start getting the community in here, so we can get these kids learning and educated and straight out to the workforce from high school if they don't wish to go to college.
That's great. Thanks, Charles.
Thank you.
Lisa Lale. I do apologize if I say anyone's name wrong. Lisa Lale, are you here?
She doesn't have a speaker at her desk wherever she is.
Okay. Winston Oxendine. Winston, don't think he's on the call. Israel Reese, Uptown Bakery, Family Bakery, excuse me.
I'm here.
Hey, Israel, do you want to tell us about your business and what all your family's doing?
Yes. So we just opened Uptown Family Bakery. It's just fresh baked goods every day. It's owned and operated by my mom and my grandma. And so they have had like this vision for probably 10 plus years. And so we're super excited, but yeah, so we have our grand opening next Tuesday.
That's awesome. We're so excited. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Mark Easterly, if you're here. I see you. Mark, would you like to speak? Mark Easterly. Oh, no speaker. Okay, that's okay. Thanks for being here, Mark. Anita Hensley. Don't think she made it on the call. Mary Darnell. Jeff Williams. I'm just saying names at this point. Lisa Christian, are you on the call? May have had everyone get cold feet. Tammy Jones. Tammy, would you like to speak? What about Amanda Pollard?
Yay, I was shameless. I put in the chat, call on me. I'm happy to speak. So good morning, everybody. I am coming to you from Emory and Henry College, just down the road. It is a good morning. We are blessed to have such a beautiful day today, but just to let you know that our students are raring to go. They want to intern with you all. They want to work with you all part-time, full-time. I know many of you all may be actually looking for temporary hires as well, seasonal employees. So please reach out to me. I can help connect you with students who are from this area, who are interested in staying in this area. My area of expertise is internships, getting academic credit to test out a career field. So if you have a career field that you're ready to open up to a student, please reach out. I'll put my name and email address in the chat box. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you all. And thank you all for attending and being a part of this networking opportunity. Ramona?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you to everyone for participating in our meet and greet. So now I know everybody's going to be excited for next time. Everybody's going to be so eager to take their turn. So thank you. So another lady that's always on the move, Nicole Austin, Membership Engagement Director with your Kingsport Chamber, will share our new members and upcoming events.
Good morning, everyone. We have several new members to welcome to the Kingsport Chamber this morning. We're going to begin with Bradley Hill Apartments. They are located on University Boulevard. They feature 2- and 3-bedroom apartments, and other amenities include 24-hour maintenance, a swimming pool, patio decks, among many others. Fidelity Investments. Investing isn't just about money, it's about your future. Let them help you create the future you want for yourself and for your loved ones. Whether you're new to investing or an experienced trader, they're here to help you on your way. Foundations Integrated Medical and Sports Health. Their mission is to help families and athletes build a foundation of optimal function and health through every stage of life. By implementing multiple facets, I'm having trouble speaking this morning, guys, I apologize, of healthcare, including chronic, chiropractic, physical rehab, regenerative, and physical medicine as an alternative to surgery and medication, their patients will enjoy a long, active lifestyle. Stockton Mortgage Group. They start each day with the goal of getting their customers to the closing table with ease, care, and consideration. They're big enough to compete with the big guys, but small enough to work closely together every day. Find your home and they'll take care of the rest. Uptown Family Bakery, you heard from them earlier. They are a new bakery located on New Street in Kingsport. They feature a variety of baked goods each day. You can visit their Facebook page for more information. Willow Creek Consign and Design is a unique upscale furniture and home decor consignment store located in Kingsport. They specialize in high quality, gently used home furnishings and accessories to decorate your home or office at affordable prices. They carry many lines of fresh and unique home decor items and accessories, and they are locally owned and operated by owners Karen Phillips and Tony Sawyer. Announcement, Keep Kingsport Beautiful has a cleanup this Saturday from 9 to 11 in downtown. They do need volunteers, and they will meet in the parking lot on Cherokee Street. That's the one by Bellafina Chocolates. The 15th annual legislative barbecue will be held this Monday, October the 4th at 5:30 at the Kingsport Farmers Market. You can register today. Go to kingsportchamber.org for more information. We have a ribbon cutting at Uptown Family Bakery. That's going to be this upcoming Tuesday, October the 5th at 4 p.m. We hope you can join us for that. DKA will host a Spice It Up Shop and Hop on Thursday, October the 7th from 5 to 8 p.m. Keep Kingsport Beautiful and the City of Kingsport are hosting a stream cleanup. That's Saturday, October the 9th from 10 to noon. They need volunteers, and they will meet at the Sullivan County Health Department. You can see on the slide here how to volunteer for that event. Tickets are on sale now for Downtown Kingsport's Wine and Whiskey Festival. That's coming up on October the 16th from 4 to 7 p.m. Contact Robin Cleary with DKA for more information. Healthy Kingsport has a new step challenge. It begins on October the 1st and runs through the end of the year. You can sign up on Walker Tracker, and this is going to help them reach their goal of walking 4 million miles this year. That's incredible. DKA's Trick or Treat on the Street will be held Saturday, October the 30th from 12 to 2. You can find out information on DKA's Facebook page. The State of Your Kingsport Chamber Holiday Breakfast will be held on Friday, November the 19th at 7:30 a.m. We are currently accepting sponsorships for this event. You can contact Bob Figgins for more information. And finally, today, our friends at Marsh Regional Blood Center are in critical need of blood again. It's an easy process. I've done it myself many times. They're going to be at the farmers market today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go donate some blood. It's Pink Out Day, so for breast cancer awareness, and all donors are going to receive breast cancer awareness t-shirt, pink chips from Barbaritos, and the first 100 donors will receive a color-changing water bottle. So go see them today at the farmers market. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Hey, and another young lady that's a mover and shaker, Ms. Stephanie Hernandez, Membership Event Director with your Kingsport Chamber, will now provide some closing remarks.
Thank you, Ramona. With rising numbers of COVID cases in our community, your Kingsport Chamber would like to encourage everyone to get their vaccinations. If anyone on this Zoom meeting would like to schedule the mobile vaccination van to come to your business, please reach out to our office. Your Kingsport Chamber is very committed to helping get our community back to normal the safest way possible. If you have any questions about best practices during this time, please visit our website, kingsportchamber.org, for guidance. Your Kingsport Chamber is here to help you, our business community, to rebuild and become stronger than ever before. We would like to thank Russ Rogers with Honda of Kingsport for his wonderful presentation today. Thank you guys all so very much, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Stephanie. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Russ. We appreciate you so very much.
Hey, good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.